You need to work in the shadows, not hide in the shadows. Hey, it's Lucas Grobot, and you're listening to Weaver and Loom. Welcome to episode 99 of Own the Future, which is a podcast that's made for and by change makers. And I have a solo segment of Own the Future called Weaver and Loom, where you and I sit down and we talk about weaving your destiny. We talk about how we are active agents of change in the world, and we have the power to change history. We have the power to write history. We have the power to sit down at the loom, which represents our work, which represents our heritage, which represents our purpose, our meaning, our fate, our destiny. And we have the power to sit down and actually weave our story, that we're not victims in this world. And that is a great transition into this episode where we talk about not hiding in the shadows, but working in the shadows, because hiding is enemy number 2 that's going to keep you from being a change maker, from being great, and from achieving your dreams. Yesterday, we talked about how enemy number 1 is having our lives predicated on the opinions and the thoughts of others, the praise of man. What is Sally going to think? What's Fatima going to think? What's Ahmed going to think? What's Muhammad going to think? What's my mom going to think? What's my dad going to think? What's my uncle's, cousin's, aunt's father going to think? When we live our lives predicated on the opinions of others, we are going to fall into the flow of the masses, just going along like a fish down the river, dead. But we are called to actually swim upriver. We are actually called to go against the grain. We are called to serve our communities around us, to make a change, to make a difference, because that is who we are as artists. That is who we are as entrepreneurs. We're people who look at the world differently and say, I think it maybe looks like this, and we flip it on its head. I think maybe these two things that don't seem to go together, when we connect them, it actually creates something beautiful, an entrepreneur. That is who we are. So the second enemy of actually achieving our great 30,000 foot, I'm going to change the world vision, is hiding in the shadows. We talk about how if you are a change maker, and you are, by listening to this, by definition, you are a change maker, that it requires you to be an absolute nobody. It requires you to serve and live in the shadows without recognition in order to achieve your dreams, because that's where the majority, 90 to 95% of your greatest work is going to happen in the secret place, in the hidden places. And you're going to have that 10% that's going to pop up like an iceberg that people see and recognize, and they're going to see your success. They're going to see you achieve your vision, and they're going to praise you, and they're going to shout. But it is from the place of being courageous enough to be an absolute nobody and to serve your market in a way that it's meaningful to your market. And oftentimes that means you're not getting the credit. But the problem is, many times as we're on this journey of trying to reach our vision, we hit roadblocks, we hit disappointment, we have discouragement, and we begin to hide in the shadows rather than work in the shadows. We begin to keep our work secret and not show our work, but we're continuing work on it. I'm just working on it. I'm trying to perfect it, trying to get it better. It's not ready yet. No, you can't see it. And we're actually hiding. No longer are we working in the shadows to produce great work. We're just hiding in the shadows because we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid our work isn't good enough. We're afraid that I haven't quite mastered it yet. And you probably haven't. It's probably not good enough. You probably haven't mastered it yet. But the fact that you're hiding in the shadows, it will keep you from greatness, because we have to bring our work to the public. We have to bring our work out to play with the other kids so that we can learn, so that we can grow, so we can get helpful, critical, constructive feedback, so we can actually see if, am I really serving my market? But what we normally do is because of past pain, because of past rejection, we say, I'm good. I really don't need to be famous. I don't really need to make a lot of money. The world really doesn't need to see my art. The world doesn't need to hear my voice. The world doesn't need to read my book. It's, I just wrote it for myself. And we have this false humility, self-deprecating to a negative place where we talk our worlds down so small, where we become so insignificant and meaningless. And we can easily think that, hey, it's good. I'm not being prideful. I'm being an absolute nobody. Look at me. I'm just being an absolute nobody. Nobody knows me, and that's great. I'm a nobody. I win. No, that's not what being an absolute nobody means. Having the courage to be an absolute nobody means that you're actually willing to create something that helps other people and changes the world, even when you might not get the praise and the credit and the accolades of the world around you, but you are still doing the work and you're serving your target audience, the people that you want to serve. If you are hiding in the shadows, you are doing the world a disservice. If you are hiding your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your greatness in the shadows, it means that you are withholding from other people's ability to reach their dreams. You're withholding from the world something that the world needs, because there are people out there that we need what you bring to the table as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, as a change maker. We need what you bring to the table. Now, I understand that it can be scary. I can understand that it can be painful. Understand that we can often be hiding because of past experience, because of feeling rejected, because of pain. But we have to know who we are, that our identity doesn't come from our work. It doesn't come from the praise of people. It comes from just who we are. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow on episode 100 of Own the Future, Weaver and Loom. We're going to be talking about how all of this comes from our identity, comes from who we know ourselves to be, which enables us and empowers us to defeat these two enemies of living for the praise of others and or hiding from the criticism of others, hiding in the shadows. Those two ditches on the road that we need to be wary of and hold in tension so that we can walk that path to greatness, to making a difference in the world. My question that I leave you with today, if you find yourself in that place of hiding in the shadows, I want you to ask yourself, why are you hiding? What are you hiding from? And just like in the previous episode, trying to understand, well, why is my ego, my self-esteem so wrapped up in the praise of other people? What happened? Why am I searching? What am I trying to fill in my life with ordering my life based on what other people think? Why am I doing that? Likewise, if you find yourself hiding, why? Why? What are you trying to avoid in your life? What pain are you avoiding in your heart, in your mind? What beliefs do you have that is keeping you from taking action and working in the shadows and then putting that out into the world for people to see? So that is all for today's episode. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode where we talk about how it all comes out of knowing who you are already. That is a basis for everything. And please share this with a change maker, an entrepreneur, a creative, someone that you know is maybe hiding in the shadows from doing great work. Text this to them and say, hey, you are great and I know your work is great, you have to listen to this episode because it could change the course of your life if you take action. That is all. I'm Lucas Scrobot. You are a change maker, and this is where destiny is woven.